So I just want to let everyone know we are recording. And then just some good behavior, I guess. And then these are our sponsors. We wouldn't be able to do this tour without the help of these companies.
Hi, John.
Hi, how you doing?
All right. This house is beautiful.
Thank you. Glad the homeowners are happy, and it's just a fun project to work on.
Yeah,
I love
we were
all
asked
these.
for a modest size house, not a box, and colorful.
I love the color. You know, I'm a big fan of color.
Oh yeah. Thank you. We do too. This is a clay house tile splash, and they have an online configurator or whatever that you can use to pick out the color mix.
So the clients enjoyed doing that? Did they pick the colors and play online?
Exactly.
Fun.
Yeah, I think, as I recall, the process was that we kind of got the general direction, the concept of the multicolored windows and the basic siding and so on, but that the homeowner is actually dialed in the particular, or homeowner, she dialed in the particular cues and so on. Is that right, Mr. Novak?
Yes.
Yeah, she changed them in process from what the plans were.
Which was expected.
Yes, that happens.
Yeah. So we got cork flooring downstairs, linoleum in the kitchen and bathrooms. And if you're just joining us, feel free to use chat for questions or just speak out. We have contractor and architects here on the call. Right now we're doing a walkthrough of the house since we can't all be there in person, the video tour. The room we're in now is a craft room, which it's one of the bedrooms, but the homeowner uses it as a place to do our artwork. And then her husband has a workshop down in the basement. Man cave, I suppose. It's a primary bedroom. It's got alcove for the bed with windows flanking it to bring in light.
Hi, James. Welcome to our tour.
And notice there's no closet in this room. It just has a bureau and a dresser.
Where do they put their clothing?
Off that primary room.
Hey, George, where do they put their clothing? Does it all fit in the dresser?
Yeah.
Nice.
You know, I think that was their request. They said, you know, they didn't really need a closet. So it allows the room to feel more open, save some space. Someone needs to mute the mic if they're shouting, if you don't mind. Or the background shouting. Thanks. Now we're heading upstairs. The living rooms in this house are on the top level as opposed to the bedrooms. So we call it an upside down house. And they're sort of divided between the north and south half of the house. To the right is the living room, and to the left is the dining and kitchen. The stair is in between those two.
And actually, that was one of the requirements from the homeowners. They actually did not want the living room right in the same space as the kitchen. They actually wanted it a little bit off, a little distance, which is a unusual request, but I think it really kind of it makes the project.
This house is just under 2,000 square feet, plus a one-car garage. And it's got 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, living, dining, kitchen. So all the rooms you really need, no extra space, and that works just fine.
Two and a half bathrooms.
2.5, excuse me, you're right. And the rooms feel large because of the corner windows and the vaulted ceilings. So it's, you know, it's just a wonderful house in terms of just the right size. Like the homeowner said that just perfect size for them. And they don't understand why anyone would build anything bigger. So there's view Mount Rainier from the deck. You can also see it from the kitchen window.
This deck that was said by the homeowner to be very convenient for COVID because she can have friends over and they can go out there and visit in the fresh air.
Now we're outside looking at the back of the house.
This is the heat pump outdoor unit. Coming around 23rd Street with 23rd Avenue with the bus going by.
That bus runs every 15 minutes,
Well,
both ways, which is great. Take you all the way up to UW, down to Rainier Beach, and then in a year or two, I guess 2023, trains will be rolling on the Link station 3 blocks away. So it's really well connected to the rest of the city.
John, could you show those slow enough so we could describe them?
I was going to start the video from the exterior for those
Okay.
who are new,
That's fine.
and then is it running?
And if anyone wants to watch videos on their own, we have them. There's about 24 of them. And you just go to velocipede.net/green home tour. I'll put that in the chat.
So this here is a picture of an HRV unit, a heat recovery ventilator unit that the home has that's constantly pulling in fresh air and exhausting stale air.
And HRV stands for heat recovery ventilator, which means it exchanged the hot air, the hot energy from the exhaust air going out, and preheats the cooled air coming in. So the fresh air being distributed through the house, even in winter, isn't too cold, hopefully. And the question earlier was asked, how would that perform if you had to isolate someone with a COVID in a particular bedroom? And the answer is all the air coming to all the rooms in the house are fresh air directly from the outside. So you wouldn't have to do any modifications from the system whatsoever.
And the building also uses a high performance weather barrier underneath the siding that seals air leaks and yet still allows the sheathing to breathe. So it's a really well air sealed tight house, minimizing heat.
Yeah, it's called a peel and stick blue skin, and it's a little bit of trouble for the siders to apply it, but they didn't seem to complain too much and did a very nice job installing it. So once installed properly, it should provide a good air seal wherever it's installed.
I kind of like the color, George. Maybe we should just left that as the siding.
Yeah.
We could just do that.
So, and when he says breathe, that means that any moisture trapped inside, that gets trapped inside the walls for whatever reason, can escape out through the sheathing, plywood sheathing, and out through the blue, which is great. We tend to live in a wet climate, and it's really important to give a building here the ability to dry out in the summer season.
It works like Gore-Tex or Tyvek.
Exactly.
Liquid water can't go through it. Vapor water does go through it easily, which is the ideal for a membrane on the outside of a house.
And you can see it fully wraps onto the inside of the jamb to form a good watertight seal.
And then the complementary butyl wrap works on the sill, which is even more water permeable or water repellent, part of their system.
So if you're just joining us, we have the architects and contractor on the call here. We're doing construction photos at the moment. We also have photos of the finished project, as well as some videos you can look at as well. And feel free to ask questions or use the chat.
One of the HRV units are great, but one of the challenges with them is figuring out how to run the ductwork to each room, which kind of takes some careful coordination during the design phase to do this.
The issue is through all the different joists and beams, they only allow a certain number of size holes in certain placements. And these ducts are 4 inches of steel, so they can't go through some beams. So it takes some, in this case, in the ideal world, which worked in this particular project, the architect, the contractor, and the heating contractor all coordinated. So that was worked into the design. So when we implemented it in the field, it worked out very well, which I would say is somewhat unusual in residential projects. Usually not pre-planned, unfortunately, but it worked out very, very well in this particular project, and I expect it'll work out very well in all our future projects.
One thing you'll notice that this house doesn't have in the kitchen, it doesn't have your typical range hood. The homeowners didn't want the range hood sort of blocking their views. So what we did instead was provide sort of a bath fan exhaust heater up in the attic space to pull that air out. So there's...
Hi, Grace, welcome.
What else you got for photos here?
I'm working on it. Yeah, so along with the HRV running, we're trying to figure out how best, so the HRV is actually going to be featured down underneath the stairs here. And so the contractor was able to run the ducts in a plywood box up, get them under the stairs. So this is a closet view under the stairs. There's a lovely photograph of the contractor.
Wow, what's he doing there?
Looks happy. Let's show some design photos.
So like photos of the plans, George, or?
Actually, yeah, plans would be interesting.
Is that okay to show them on
Yeah.
on here? Okay.
Well, no, you want to use the website plans, not the construction
Oh,
drawing.
I see. That's a good idea.
Why don't I do some design stuff while you're finding those?
You want to take control? Well,
I'm doing it, yeah. So this house is got some incredible views. There's Mount Rainier out the kitchen. I don't know why this won't let me advance photos. Good. Here's the street side of the house. There's two pavilions, north and south, with a stair in between. Pavilions have gable roofs on them with vaulted ceilings underneath. So you got the dining room on, kitchen on the left, and then the living room on the right.
Can we adjust a chat question?
Sure.
Can you describe Grace is asking, can you describe that kitchen exhaust again? Well, it would have been ideal from an exhaust point of view to have a range hood coming down from that vaulted ceiling down over the counter there, but that would have interrupted the owner's views, the views from the kitchen and from the dining room as well. So they opted not for that. So instead, up in the exhaust, up in the vaulted ceiling, there's a 4-inch duct for an inline fan up there, which is exhausting for the cooktop, which is an electric cooktop, and it's working fairly well with them. There's some things I'd change a little bit if we were going to do that again. Does that answer your question, Grace? Or you're welcome to verbally ask us questions too.
May not want to. So, because we're being recorded, right? So, not every, people who cook with a lot of greasy food, do a lot of grease cooking, this would not be a good solution. You really need a hood to control that. But for this client, they don't really cook that way, and this works well.
Yeah, so you can see there's their exhaust fan. There's their kitchen exhaust fan.
It's up by the lights there, yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, it really opens the whole space up. So I thought we could show people some of the floor plans.
Sure,
So as you
go
guys
ahead.
see, it's a rectangular, unusual shaped site.
Can't see it.
You can't see it?
Can you share?
I can see it.
Okay, good. There, I can see it. Okay, I'm good.
Yeah, so I guess we start with the lower floor. Obviously, the lowest floor has the garage at the south, the mechanical sort of in between, the stairs in the middle, and a workshop, and the laundry with a back door out to the side. And then the middle floor level, again, enter, come in. Here's a small entry hall. Just cozy up the stairs. Master bedroom to the north. This is master bedroom, guest bathroom, and 2 south bedrooms. And then the third floor, you arrive, and then the living, all have views over here, and a sort of interstitial space. A very small powder room. It doesn't even have a sink. And then a kitchen and the dining deck. Does anyone have any questions?
We could go over the green features for the project. We haven't done that recently.
Yeah.
So the green features for the project are good ventilation system, heat recovery ventilator, which is a Broan in this example. And the homeowners have reported to us that it's working very well, keeping the house air quality clean even today with the amazing smoke that we're having outdoors. There are also, for heating, we have a ductless mini split with a head on each floor. And then we have radiant panels on 2 of the bedroom ceilings from Mighty House Energy, electric radiant panels. That works really well. We have a research pump on a timer for supplying hot water quickly to all the different remote sources in the house. Let's see, the house is a relatively compact, small house with a fantastic location and views, close to mass transit, not too far from downtown or the freeways, and 3 blocks away from the transit station. The light rail station will be opening up in a couple of years. Flooring is a lovely cork flooring and then marmoleon. There's a cool transition of marmoleon colors between the dining room and the kitchen, which we may eventually show a photo of again. We have fiberglass windows, double paned windows. We're all solar ready. We've got ducting going up to the attic for solar easy connection for that. The roofs are designed, so there's 2 different south-facing roofs that will be easily set up for solar. We have Energy Star appliances. We have Kebony decking from Green Home Solutions. We have, of course, rain screen. And we did LED lighting throughout. Anything else you guys can think of?
Very green architect and contractor.
They are.
So job site recycling, minimal waste.
Welcome, Marcus. Let us know if you got any questions or anything you'd like us to talk about, particular pictures you'd like us to show. The house, as you drive up 23rd Avenue from the south, is quite prominent. It's kind of an instant landmark. It's not a big house, but it's 3 stories and kind of towers over 23rd, and is the highlight colors are very noticeable. Something you really grab you as you're driving up the street. During the demonstrations, the Black Lives Matters, there's a large demonstration that went right by there on 23rd Avenue South. And I saw at a friend's Facebook photo of the just thousands, tens of thousands of people going down the street. And the whole video showed this house in the background. And it was pretty cool to see.
What else can we show you? So here's the concrete floor. And you'll notice there's this white, what they call EPS insulation underneath the entire floor. So that's why you can walk around barefoot on the concrete and it doesn't feel cold. There's this sloped insulation around the edge, protects the edge of the slab so that it's also insulated. So we're isolating the house from the cold ground. And then there's a pretty good sized steel beam runs across the garage and some posts. We were asked to provide not a box house. And so we did that, and it really makes for a fun, lively house, but structurally it took a little bit of gymnastics to make that work.
Hey George, when you're finished, let me show some progress photos as well.
Yeah, actually, would you like to take over the screen? That would be great.
Got it. This is stop others. Yeah, I'm taken. Let's see. Uh-oh, this is not what I was hoping for. I think you can have the screen back for a minute. Let me get organized.
Always a good idea.
I'll see you guys later.
Hi, Diana.
Thanks
Hi,
so
Dan.
much for joining us and for letting us show your house this year.
Oh, no, thank you guys so much. This is just like the best house ever, I swear. If anybody has any questions, I would totally rave about everything. So thanks again and have a great day.
Awesome.
Thanks, Diana.
All right.
Bye.
Yeah, so this is a view of the underside of the roof. It's a truss roof. You can see that both the top of the truss and the bottom slope, and that gives us the vaulted ceilings and then the gable roofs. And then the black pipes are just plumbing pipes, but the white ones are the piping for the mini split heat pump, the refrigerant lines and the condensate return line.
Hey George, I'm ready to take over the screen.
Okay, just a sec. And then this is, I believe, an HRV duct. Is that right, John? Wrapped in insulation?
That's correct.
Yes, that's correct, George.
Yes, that's
Yeah, that
correct.
looks it. And a couple of recessed tan lights there. So you can see we've distributed ventilation air to all of the rooms. Please take the screen.
I am. Let's see. It's oh, there it is. So this is back in the early stage when before we put in the foundation, putting in the pin piles. And we put 89 pin piles in. It was a little bit of a process. 2-inch pin piles. Hold up the house because it didn't have good structural soil for doing that. Behind is the old house that homeowners used to live in and later sold. This is the concrete pour for the slab. It's a nicely done slab. There for the walls. This is a little later in the process. This is when we're doing concrete cutting in the street for a new water meter out there that turned out to be quite a process. This particular character, the concrete cutter, his name is Tex, and he's a legendary concrete cutter in Seattle. He has a master's degree in physics. Does his own stuff. Here's a lovely picture of sort of the alpine glow on our house at night. Here we are doing the work out in the street. Here's the concrete. We had an unfortunate happening when one of the most exciting parts of the street, of the job, is when we did the concrete pour out in the street. Looked like good weather, and then it wasn't. And it just downpoured, and we were on a slopey street, so the water poured into there. We were bucketing it out with 5-gallon buckets, and I was sure we were going to be jackhammering the next day, but the concrete guys worked super hard and were able to save it. Just worked into the night finishing it up. It was a crazy process, but we succeeded with that. That was a good thing, a very good thing. Oops, how do I turn that? Sorry, don't know how to turn that in this context. This is the former house that had been at the site and moved in the 1950s to another location across Judkins Park. This would be the, looks like the laundry room right there. Piping in the laundry room. This would be the heat pump system up in the ceiling of the 3rd floor with what it looks like in rough-in phase, and then some insulated pipes for the HRV system there as well. Here's looking in from the master bathroom to the south towards the guest bathroom, where you can see a fan and heat ducts for fresh air for HRV. Here you can see the rough-in for the heat duct in the master bedroom. A bit of a close-up of it. It has a drain collector there, so if there's any leaks from the heat duct or any dripping from it, it drains down to the outside, I believe. Oops, sorry about this. This is the laundry room. This is the border of how we air sealed and insulated between the garage, which is unheated, and the heated space in the basement. Over here, you can see the heat pump head rough-in for the basement level there. Oops, sorry about this photo. This would be in the mechanical room setup. This is the ducts for the heat pump system right next to where, I'm sorry, for the HRV, where the HRV is going to be going right next to it. The garage ceiling with that steel beam there. Interesting venture. Little showing the blow-in bat insulation, fiberglass bat insulation, and how we insulated the rims. More blow-in bat insulation. Insulation of the attic. The attic was done in loose fill insulation, other than the bats at the very edges of it. Loose fill insulation didn't quite get done right, and the insulators had to send a guy back that was a very skinny guy who could go back there and supplement the insulation. More blow-in bat insulation. And showing This is down in the laundry area, just showing the rigid insulation there, insulating the concrete walls built out there. Now that's Marmoleon, where the kitchen has that. Go back to that picture, John.
Trying to.
So the kitchen has one color Marmoleon, the yellow, and then the dining room and the kind of entry area has a different color. The customer, Diana, designed that, and then my Marmoleon guy kind of perfected it into a really cool little transition.
Between the kitchen and the dining, and that's what that is?
Yeah, two different Marmoleons there. Yeah, it came out really, looking really nice.
And tell me about the use of marmoleum in general, and this maybe to all of you. Is it found in, what kind of houses is it found in, and what's kind of the general image it portrays?
Is an older product. It's mostly made from linseed oil. It's low
Right.
toxic. It's much.
Will people who look at it say oil vinyl floor? Will they say that?
Yes, because they
Okay.
use that term in a broad generic sense, but it predates vinyl. Vinyl came in in World War II, and linoleum was like 1902.
Yeah, we have a little bit in this house that we're in now.
It's I have it in my own kitchen. It's easy to clean. It's durable. It looks great. Some people don't like the marbled look to it. Okay.
It's distinctly, the looks, the patterns that come are distinctly different than what's available in vinyl. So those who know the difference will know right away, but people who don't know that much about flooring might mistake it for vinyl. It's true.
Okay.
But it doesn't have,
just the aesthetic of it is what I'm wondering about. Just
yeah, I would go to a floor store, see samples, or go to go see a job with one of us when that's possible to see an actual floor. But I think it's a beautiful material.
Yeah.
Lasts a long time. It works really well.
okay.
There's
John and George,
actually
should we put that on our house?
There's a video that the homeowner, we have these little video snippets, and there's one where she talks about the flooring and how she likes to walk around barefoot on it. So
It's very good in wet areas, particularly. If you spill water on it, it won't permeate with it or damage it. You just have to wipe up the water when you get around to it.
We don't spill anything in our kitchen, which is fortunate. It helps a lot.
It's a good thing.
Yeah.
I want to welcome Nancy and Richard and Krista. If you have any questions or thoughts, please chime in. Cameron, hello.
We've tried to build spill-free kitchens where people don't spill ever again, but we haven't succeeded with that yet.
Right.
You haven't met us.
Yeah, I know, right. I'm all for that.
But I like the curved detail. It gives it some little personality.
Let's show some more photos.
Yeah. So unfortunately, I thought I
Oh,
would
that's the HRV up in the ceiling of the upper floor.
The heat
And
pump.
the heat pump. And so that provides the heating and then the cooling for that whole floor. And it works really well and it looks cool. And it's just, put up in the ceiling and it's very low profile. The other
There's
one,
just one?
yeah, there's one on each floor. The others are wall mounted ones, which I don't think are as attractive as this one. Of course, the ceiling ones that are most attractive are the most expensive too, unfortunately. But
Everything works that way.
It works really well. So it works for heating and cooling. Hi, Chris.
Hey, John.
Yeah,
Yeah, very nice.
pretty amazing. And then the deck itself, so they have a place to sit out and have breakfast with this amazing view overlooking the streets right off the kitchen. Here's their garage. One-car garage.
Wooden bed in this one.
Yeah.
I have a nice story. They both work at this garage door company.
David's Doors.
Door for a deal. And installed it himself, I believe, right?
He did install it himself.
Yeah, that's what he does for a living.
And so that's the deck that was shown earlier right off the kitchen there.
Yeah.
And her studio is just the bottom window on the right side there above the garage.
This is the round back.
All right, George, can I take control again?
Maybe.
Yeah, you're showing the same stuff that I could show. Here, I'm
This
gonna
is
take a
the
photo.
master bedroom sink.
Go ahead. And you know, we are the hosts, the architects and builder. We're happy to chat away, but if people have questions or thoughts, you can either use the chat function, or you can just, orally, ask questions. We'd be happy to answer. We're here all for the next 3-4 hours. Happy to chat. Happy to talk.
This is a view from the living room up to the kitchen. So you see the kitchen's on the right side, the deck beyond, and the dining room over there. And so it's
Can you enlarge that picture, John?
Full screen.
Less screen.
how
Double click it.
Thank you.
about that?
Much better.
Um,
Yeah, it's beautiful built-in bookcase on the edge of the peninsula of the cabinet. That transition of the floor that we saw earlier in the Marmoleon is just right in front of that bookcase there and the end of the cabinet. It's right there. Dining room to the left, kitchen to the right. It's just a beautiful, airy, nicely placed windows, nice door, so it's kind of an indoor-outdoor space. Just to the left there, the door you see is the powder room, that area. Very nicely done.
Keep going, John.
so here's a look at again, the homeowners had this really colorful notion of the house. So here's the view from of the kitchen. All right, so you have views this direction, views from here, all over.
And the kitchen has quite a remarkably colorful tile pattern that they really love a lot, or she really loves a lot at least.
You can tell that vivid colors was a big part of the program for this house.
You pulled it off. It looks good.
Yeah, and Diana, who picked out all the colors, the customer, she said she's an artist, and she says her husband's colorblind, so she gets to do what she likes.
Kind of see here's the front entry door. So
Nice
you come in and you go right up the stairs
Sorry.
to the main central entry hall.
So, and this is the stairway, and very interesting light at the top, LED light that's got a lot of character, and a beautiful painting down there that her mother made.
Wow.
The view from the living room, kind
This
of.
is the dining room view, John.
Yep.
This is the dining room looking to the southwest towards Mount Rainier. Very airy dining room. There's those two big windows. Then around the left, there's a third window facing to the south. That's just a tall, thin one that was done in process of taking advantage of a little view opportunity there, light opportunity.
Again.
When you get to it, I'm interested in some of the green features of the building. With windows and wall construction, et cetera.
The windows are fiberglass windows. In this case, they're double pane fiberglass windows.
Okay.
The house itself is just under 2,000 square feet of conditioned space and about 500 square feet of non-conditioned space. So it's not a large house. It's a pretty good size house. The heat, as we saw, was a heat pump system. So it's a ductless mini heat pump system. And then there's two radiators, electric radiant panels on the bedroom, two of the bedroom ceilings that supplement that heat. And they work.
If you got a picture of that, I'd be interested in seeing what that looks like.
We don't have a picture of that.
Okay.
But if you want to send me or somebody your email, I'd be glad to send you one.
What's that? Electric radiant panel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a half-inch thick rectangle on the ceiling.
How big?
In color. I have a picture for another project somewhere.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah, I can't believe we don't have a picture of that.
The location of the house is interesting because it's really close to downtown, close to bus runs, and it's just 3 blocks from the new light rail station on I-9.
What we're talking about.
So Mike, you'd asked about the walls.
Yes.
Pretty typical construction, 2x6 walls. Use blown-in bats for fiberglass insulation.
Yeah.
That fills all the gaps. Plywood sheathing, and then the weather-resistant barriers, you know, fully applied, so peel and stick. So it's called the Henry's Blue Skin.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think we have a photo of that.
yeah, we do. I can show you that.
And then outboard of that is a rain screen, just a mesh to create a gap behind the fiber cement siding. So it's
Board and batten siding. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. It varies, but yeah.
This
The
is the living room looking out towards downtown.
so the only thing that would make it more high performance is if we did some exterior insulation, and that just wasn't in the cards for this house for their
Got
budget.
it.
And also triple glazed windows would have made it higher performance, and it could have been made more airtight as well.
Okay.
This is
Pretty
back-
house.
Yeah, back to the dining room, shot from the living room. It's a very pretty house. Beautiful color choices, I think.
Anyone else on the call have questions or thoughts they want to share?
Back to the green features,
So you-
we have a recirc pump for the hot water, so they have pretty much instant hot from throughout the house. Nice feature.
How's the water made hot?
It's in the water heater, and it just recirculates it out to the various
It's just an
faucets.
ordinary electric tank water heater, nothing
Got
special.
it.
Yeah, we were going to do an on-demand. We were thinking about doing that, but that just the electrical load for an all-electric house becomes too burdensome. And we thought about doing the sand-in like we were going to do with you, but it just didn't pencil out.
Yeah.
But here you're talking about here's an example of the Henry's Blue Skin.
Mhm.
This is what we use on this to get it gives you, it's a self-adhered building membrane. So you stick it on the building and it forms all the air seals. So it seals all the air cracks in the plywood sheathing.
As well as keeping the rain out.
As well as keeping the rain out. And what's great is it has a high breathability. So if moisture does get on the plywood, it can get out. So that's,
And the blue is just around the windows, or is it?
well,
No, this is just a photo taken just after our window installation. We put it around the windows, then once the siders start and set up their pump jacks, they blue skin the whole house.
Got it. All right.
Before they side it and before they put up a rain screen, which in this case was a mesh that we put up there, which is a
Nylon mesh.
yeah, it was a nylon mesh that allows it so if water goes, there it is, the whole blue skin on the side of the house or that part of the house. The nylon mesh allows for any water that goes through the siding to drip down to the ground right away rather than having a pressure and possibly going into the house.
Got it.
so
And then go ahead, John.
well, yeah, I was just gonna say this might actually be an option for your house for air
Yeah.
sealing. This might be one of the methods we use. Just FYI.
Yeah. On top
John?
of where is that in relationship to the exterior insulation, inside or outside?
So
Outside.
underneath, so we would on your house we would put this right over the sheathing, but then we would put the 3 or 4 inches of exterior insulation over this, and so
Yeah.
that would form the air barrier and the water barrier, and the Gutex would be fully breathable, so we wouldn't need anything there, and we would just put the siding over that.
But we're not going to
Okay.
talk about that house. We're going to talk about this house today.
As you should.
So actually, one of the crucial green features on this house, and it's very timely, is they have what they call an HRV, heat recovery ventilator, and so that mechanically exchanges outdoor air with the indoor air all the time, and it's brought into all the rooms, and it's got a filter. That filter is pretty important. I just got an email from the homeowner. You know, we've had this horrible week of wildfire smoke. Their indoor air is clean.
Yay.
The filters are dirty. They've been changing them once a week now, but
Excellent.
perfect example of, you know, why we want to spend a little extra on a good ventilation system, because I'm afraid we're going to have these smoky summers going, you know, henceforth.
So
Well,
in this case, the heat recovery ventilator is located right underneath that stair landing. It's shown right there. And that plywood thing is actually the piping for the heat recovery ventilator going up to the upper floors through there. Just so we could
The
sheetrock
pipes
around
are
it.
inside there, right? Or is it the duct itself?
So the thing to know about a heat recovery ventilator is not only has it got a filter, but it's a heat exchanger. It captures a lot of the exhaust heat going out and puts it back into the new heat coming in. Some like the Zender, one of the most best ones, captures about 92% of the waste heat. So the incoming air, even in the winter, isn't that cold. Some of the others are less efficient, that are less expensive.
Yeah, Mike, you're going to be getting the Cadillac of those.
Cool. You're Cadillac everywhere, right?
The Cadillac.
Yeah, well, I think of the Zender, it's a Swiss-made machine. I think of it more as a Mercedes or a BMW.
Thank you.
I wouldn't want a Cadillac one in my house.
So in the spring and fall in a well-built house like this, do you open your windows or not?
Sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You open your windows, especially at night, to get that cooling effect.
So a simple, easy way to get fresh outdoor air from any room is open the window. Today, you don't want to open the window because it's smoky outside. So this has the nice feature. And then, anytime the windows are closed, which is a good portion of the winter, you're still getting fresh air 24/7.
So
An extreme example of that would be a submarine or Apollo 13. Remember, they were every breath of carbon dioxide they exhaled, they were losing oxygen. So a house isn't a submarine, but it's the same basic idea. We need to get rid of the stale air inside and get fresh oxygen.
And you don't want to open the window on a submarine.
Correct.
good point.
Well, in part you do.
Well, I'm not sure they built submarines with windows to begin with.
Not yet.
The consideration for opening windows in the spring and fall is, to me, is what's the outside air doing? If your neighbor has a nasty fire in their fireplace and they're burning garbage, probably not. Best not to open your window. Or in the spring, if one of you has a allergy issue to pollen and you have a lot of pollen in the air, probably not opening the window is a good thing. But you don't ever need to for fresh air. But it's wonderful to be able to open windows whenever you want to, when the air is good outside and you just want to have that connection, that fresh air coming in. But really, with a good heat recovery ventilator, no matter what the conditions are outside, with a proper filter, if you have a HEPA filter, you can have the same quality you have in the pristine mountain air up in the mountains on a good day as you have in your house.
So the way to get the freshest air all the time is never open your windows?
Potentially.
It depends on your location, depends on what your outer air is. Also, it depends on the nature of your filter. What we have in our heat recovery ventilators, at best, is we have a HEPA filter, which filters out 99.98% of all particles, I believe, half micron and larger every time it goes through there. But it's not filtering out gases. And part of smoke, or wildlife fire smoke, is carbon monoxide. And so to have that, you'd need to have a backup charcoal filter to do really the 100% job. But judging from our customers, they don't even have a HEPA filter. They have a MERV, probably 11 or 13.
MERV 13 is what you want for smoke.
MERV 13 is darn good.
Yeah, so the higher the filtration, like, you don't necessarily want a HEPA filter because it's really it's inefficient because it's so dense. So the pump has a harder time moving the air through it.
It depends on the heat recovery vendor. The Zender is designed for a HEPA filter, so it's all set up for that. Whereas the Broan in this job is not designed for that. So you don't want to put a more refined filter in there than what the equipment is designed for.
On the screen is this radiant ceiling panel.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to
Very
point out,
good.
Mike. There's the radiant ceiling panels, right? So they're just these little half-inch
And that's resistance electrical, right?
electric resistance. However, because it behaves more like the sun's energy, it's radiant energy, right? So it's not really heating the air so much as heating the heating your body and heating the objects.
The objects.
It's a little more efficient that way.
It's like having the sun in your room.
Yeah.
And I should also point out, in this installation, it's mounted on the surface, it sticks down, but you can also interrupt the wall board and mount it flush, so it's almost invisible.
Good point.
It's not objectionable, surface mounted, is it?
Yeah,
To
I mean,
me.
I was in that room and I didn't really notice it. Just like
Yeah.
the smoke detector, you just don't really, you kind of, your mind wipes out of those things.
And moving on, here's the HRV.
Very
We
nice.
went with the Brown HE series. So it's not quite as efficient as the Zender, but it's still a really good product. Yeah.
So I was wondering, hey, welcome to Jeremy. I was wondering if we had thoughts or questions from other people. Yeah, Richard has a question in chat. Who makes that heating panel? And these are the ones actually that Mighty House is showing. That's where we got them.
Mighty House Energy sells them.
Yeah. Duco Terra, I believe, is the manufacturer. The reason we use them on this house is the heat pump has a head, when it's in the living, dining, kitchen area where it serves all those rooms that are all open to one another, a single head can heat all the rooms. But when you have bedrooms and the doors are closed, in this case, the heat pump head for that floor is in the master bedroom. I'm sorry, we're calling it the primary bedroom now. And then the other two bedrooms have these radiant panels so they can get individualized heat. So there's another way to do that too. There's a type of heat pump where it's then ducted from the box to each of the bedrooms. That's another way of doing that.
Oh, and Mike, I just want to point out one of the things we did to reduce costs on this project was go with plywood soffits.
I had a question about that. Yes.
Yeah, so this is what the plywood soffit looks like. It's a less expensive version than a solid wood boards
Right.
for your soffiting, and I think it looks really nice. Actually, I think it's got the texture and the grain, so I think it's a kind of a win-win.
Yeah.
Except for John, you're supposed to cover those holes.
Which holes are those?
The little tiny holes, nail holes.
John, didn't you cover the holes? What's going on there?
Yeah, John.
That was John photographed them before we covered them, of course. We wanted to have John to point something out, have something to point out to us when he came to tour.
It's a good strategy.
Yeah.
So here's. Oh.
Nice stairway.
Yeah.
The stairway railing system came from a place in Bainbridge Island where we did all the measurements remotely, and they just did a really nice job of building it to exactly what we needed.
Looks great.
Maybe we should show a few more inside pictures or a little video.
I show the video again. Let's go back to that video.
Yeah, just the short ones.
So this is the master bedroom, or it's still a master bedroom. And so we had that little pop out, so the bed frames it so that the owners could get light on both sides of the bed, and some nice fresh air right there at the windows.
I like the doors.
Doors are very nice.
Yeah, you'll see it in a little bit here. Another trick that we use to get more light into spaces is having the bathroom door is a glass, a frosted glass panel. Oh, I guess not. So
That was the guest bathroom that did not.
I didn't
This
realize.
is the art studio.
Yeah, and if visitors want, they can. We have a dozen videos, 24 videos available, which you can watch at your leisure. Pause them as you need to. There's a link in the chat about how to get to that. I'll put it up there again for people.
Amanda's saying she'd love to hear more about the construction details.
Okay, let's jump to that. That's fine.
Sure.
I'll let you handle that. You want to take over screen sharing?
No, John Novak actually had the best construction photos, I thought.
Okay,
You thought so? I thought you had some good ones, but
go ahead. Somebody take it.
So to start with the construction process, Amanda, we did in the foundation, we found that we didn't have good soil down there. There had previously been a house on the site that was moved in the 1950s, and that house moved across Judkins Park, and this site had been a vacant lot since then. When we went to excavate, we found that soil wasn't good bearing soil, so we had to install 89 pin piles for the project. I guess I could go to my, I'll just go to screen share and show.
Yeah, John, I don't know if I have.
I'll show my screen share for that. Oop, we'll stop others. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. And which one's it? Here it is. And let me go back with this one. Let's go forward. No, this is not really. I'm sorry. I'm going to stop screen share and go back again. It's the wrong collection I started with. What's this one? Okay, well, we're here right now. So the house is conventionally built with 2x6 walls. It has a rain screen on the outside, good siding on the outside, which is hardy, plus some 1x2 battens on top of that. Inside, it's got a concrete slab floor on the lower floor with 4 inches of EPS rigid insulation underneath that.
What are we looking at here?
This is just looking at an insulated wall.
And that's what, blown in bib?
Blow-in bibs fiberglass insulation.
That's the white stuff, right?
Yeah, which works quite a bit better than bad insulation, fiberglass bad insulation. Cellulose also works very well. The ceiling in this case was bad insulation to save a little bit of cost. In the upper left-hand corner, you can see the rims of how those were done. It gives you a little better showing of that. And here's a window. On the upper part of this, it shows the refrigeration lines. We have houses heated by heat pumps, ductless mini split. And it's got one ducting for that, one head for that on each floor. And plus a supplemental heat of electric radiant panels in 2 of the bedrooms. And it also has a heat recovery ventilator, which supplies fresh air to every room in the house and exhaust air out from the wet areas, the kitchen, bathrooms, and laundry area. This is a photo on the right-hand corner, shows the head of one of the heat duct heads surrounded by white insulation. Above that in the ceiling, the duct there would be the HRV, the heat recovery ventilator, fresh air input for this particular area. Oh, no, my mistake. This area is at the bottom of the stairs, and this is the air input, the makeup air from outside, which blows whenever we have a negative air, brings air in whenever we have too much negative air pressure on the inside. And this wall here is the transition between the heated space and the unheated space in the garage out there. Let's see what else. The house has a recirculating pump to supply almost instant hot for all the remote faucets, kitchen faucets and showers and tubs around the house. We've used only low toxic materials, all 0 VOC paints, all materials with no added urea formaldehyde. The flooring is cork, very nice soft cork to walk on, and marmoleum. Back to the
picture of that there, John?
I don't have one handy.
Okay.
If you got one, take over and show that.
Okay.
Not that one.
Yeah, well.
Very good. The heat recovery ventilator has a MERV 13 filter in it, which the owners have told us is even in today, in the extreme smoke event that we're having today, is keeping the air clean inside the house, which is a really fantastic thing. We did job site recycling. We have LED lighting throughout. The decks are done in Kevany decking. And the house is PV ready and potentially maybe a net zero energy house. Once we have some energy bills, we could be able to determine that.
So there's the Kevany decking right there. It's made to weather naturally. It'll turn gray. Looking for the linoleum flooring shot. Keep going. Okay. We want me to,
Let's see what else. The house has got a great location. We probably mentioned that already. Nice compact, not a lot of no extra space in it, no wasted space, very efficiently thought through by the owners and particularly by the architect, by John Novak, doing a really nice job with that. And that's all I can think of.
there's that linoleum flooring. So this is kitchen on the right, the sort of greenish yellow. Dining on the left, the gray, steely gray. And the installer did a beautiful job of doing that curved joint between the two of them.
Curved joint, which was designed by the owner but carried out beautifully by the installer.
Yeah.
Expertly done by that.
So linoleum is made out of linseed oil, sawdust. It's got a jute backing that's a natural fiber. About 125-year-old technology. It was completely replaced by vinyl flooring in World War II, but unlike vinyl, it doesn't off-gas, and it's very durable. The maintenance is just mopping. It's wonderful underfoot. The homeowner, like I say, she goes around barefoot in there, really enjoys it. I have it in my own house. It's easy to keep clean. It looks good. And for this house, it was perfect. There's, as you can tell, there's a lot of colorful touches to this house. Go ahead, whoever's talking about rain screen.
I believe there's a question about rain screen.
Yeah.
Or the
Yeah.
WRB.
Yeah.
We used something called Henry's WRB. It's a self-adhered membrane that it sticks to the plywood sheathing itself and does double duties protecting the structure from water, as well as providing a nice airtight seal around the entire house. There was no exterior insulation on this project due to budget constraints, but so just over this is rain screen and 3/4 inch strips, vertical strips, and then the siding, so that at least the siding behind it can breathe or is ventilated. It's a fully ventilated rain screen, right, John?
It is a fully ventilated rain screen. WRB stands for water resistant barrier, and it performs like Gore-Tex. It doesn't allow any liquid water to go through it from the outside, but it does allow gaseous water vapor to penetrate it from the inside going out, so the wall can dry from the inside out, which is a very important thing. As we build more and more energy efficient structures, houses become less resilient to moisture issues. So we have to pay more and more attention to the materials that we select and particularly how the installation is done properly. Hello, greetings to the new person who just joined us. Please let us know what questions you have. You're welcome to turn on your mic at any time and ask questions, or address us with questions at the chat available at the center of the bottom of your screen as well.
So we have the architects and the contractor on board today, and we're showing construction photos right now. We also have design photos. We have video tours and interviews. What's your pleasure?
So addressing something from Amanda in the chat is like the whole house is plywood. We didn't use OSB. My feeling is plywood performs quite a bit better than OSB, especially if it gets moist. It's just a much better product. I avoid using OSB on any of the jobs I'm involved in, if at all possible. And there's no insulation on the outside of the plywood. In this case, just really for budgetary reasons. I would have loved to have seen 2 inches of some type of insulation on the outside to give it make it a much more energy efficient shell and to mitigate the thermal bridging of the studs and other wood and steel products in the walls. You can see in the kitchen, the owners chose a very colorful tile pattern. They really like their colors, and they've done a beautiful job in making those choices. Earlier we saw, oops, go back that last photo. Earlier we saw that marmoleum, those two different colors, that curve pattern that's right at the foot of that bookcase that we're looking at right now. Did a great job in that last photo of doing that blue low down the wall and white higher up. It's a cool feature, and the blue connecting to the blue door as well. It was nicely done. Hi, Bray. Welcome to our tour. Let us know if you have questions. Either turn your mic on and address them verbally to us, or through the chat session at the bottom of the screen is another option. We'll be watching those.
Let's do some design photos maybe, or we got floor plans.
That's a great photo.
Yeah, I was showing the photos, the floor plans. Just
The owner selected some really unusual, fun light features, especially in that hallway. Painting is just beautiful in the hallway. It's her mother's work. This is the primary bedroom, no longer called the master bedroom, apparently. This would be the non-primary bathroom, also known as the kids' bathroom, the guest bathroom, and which had a beautiful marmoleum floor. This would be the bedroom. Oops. Could you go just a little slower, John, so we could talk about these as we go? This would be in the bedroom that's now used as an art studio by the homeowner. Got a beautiful view out in the street, and beautiful territorial view, and seems to be using it quite nicely. This is the border between the two different colors of marmoleum between the kitchen and the dining room, which the owner initially drew that pattern, and the installer did a beautiful job of making that work. This is the view out the non-primary bathroom window. A little too fast, John.
That was actually the living room there, I think.
Yeah.
No, it's bathroom, yeah.
Yeah, that was the bathroom window. This is off the deck. Hey, John Novak, why don't you narrate, because you're controlling the speed.
I like it when you guys talk and I just try to keep it going here. Maybe we should do the video tour to give people an
Well,
idea.
yeah, since we're on the floor plans, let's look at that. So this is it's a corner lot, arterial on the right and just a side street at the bottom there. It's a 3,750 square foot lot. That's the smallest lot you can legally build a house on in Seattle. It was actually subdivided from the lot on the north. So the homeowners lived in the house in the north and then bought the lot, or subdivided, and then they built a new house on the south and sold the one to the north. So they moved basically next door. House is at an angle to orient it to the primary street, and that also creates a very small backyard on the right, on the left there. Everything else is pretty much right up against the setbacks, the legal setbacks of the zoning. There's just space to get a driveway and a one-car garage in off the side street. This is the basement level, so it's down at the ground level of the backyard. It's got a one-car garage, workshop for the husband, back door with a laundry mudroom, and then we tucked the mechanical room under the front porch. And the next level up, if you would, shows that to get from the driveway or from the front, from the sidewalk on the right, you can walk up a gentle slope to the covered front porch. So you actually enter the house at the middle level. From there, you can go up or down the central staircase. The middle level is the bedrooms. Main bedroom on the north, with an ensuite bathroom and then the shared bathroom in the hallway for the 2 south bedrooms, one of which is being used as an art room. And then upstairs is the top level. It has the living and dining kitchen. So we call this an upside down house because instead of the bedrooms being on the top level, the living and dining is on our. And the reason for that is that the views from the top level, the higher you go, are just phenomenal. It also allows us to have vaulted ceilings in the underside of the roof in the primary bedrooms, primary living rooms, excuse me. There's also a deck off the southwest there, just off the dining room. And it's a great place to hang out and have incredible views, take a cup of tea, visit with friends at social distance. It's a compact house. It's about 850 square feet of floor, 1,900 square feet heated total, plus a 1-car garage. 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms, sort of everything you need and no more. And that makes it a greenhouse because it's a minimal size and it makes it more affordable. I'm going to do
Yeah, go ahead.
an interview or two. So let's have the homeowner. Nope, you got it.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead with the interview? That interview is pretty priceless, I think.
I appreciate everyone's patience. This is our first virtual green home tour.
So we have an upside down house, which, so that means all the, what I call active space, so living room, kitchen, dining room are on the top floor. And that's where the best views are. And so the main floor we walk in is like entry, both the bedrooms, the bathrooms. Because for me, like, why would I want views where I'm sleeping? So the top floor is where we have all the views where we can see, like, while we're cooking and we're watching TV, we see all these great views. And then when I go to bed, though, still when I look out my side windows, I still get to see the sky. And that seems perfect to me. So we have marmoleum in the kitchen and the dining room and the bathrooms. And marmoleum comes in great color schemes and is super fun. And I fell in love with one for the kitchen, and I didn't want to do the whole dining room, so there's a really nice curve that the marmoleum installer was able to make work for me. And then we have this cork floor for the bedrooms, living room, and entry. And cork is just a nice feel. It just feels good on your feet. I never wear slippers. Yeah, I love the feel of cork.
This house is located in Judkins neighborhood on 23rd Avenue South. Very interesting neighborhood. People are very friendly, very diverse neighborhood. I recently, after the Black Lives Matters demonstrations, I saw a video on a friend's web page or a Facebook page that was photographing the demonstration of just thousands of people going down 23rd with this house in the background.
You ready, John, or more?
George, you just go ahead and show a video yourself. That's only fair.
I don't have one of myself, actually.
Okay.
I think we did.
So I think the cost was under budget, what we planned, which was great. Our contractor was really good about giving us decision-making and choices about different things that might cost more or less than what we'd planned on, so we could, you know, make a choice on what to spend our money on. The architects were great at like giving us different ideas of how to either make things more affordable or things that we could maybe do later that we could maybe pay for when we could afford it. And the green building, I think, yeah, like it just depends on what your priorities are and the choices you make to what's important to how you want to live.
The homeowners have a very colorful spirit, and I think the colors on this building really reflect their personality and their characters. I think this is a really good example of a house really reflecting the homeowner's spirit.